Waqt ekonomija illum. L-isfidi finanzjarji għall-industrija taż-żejt taż-żebbuġa fit-Tuneżija. Il-Bank Ċentrali Ewropew u r-Riżerva Federali Amerikana jżommu r-rati tal-interessi fl-istess livelli. Iżda nibdew dwar il-Vitikultura fl-Awstralja. Il-Vitikultura Awstraljana ħadet daqqa u qed isibha diffiċli ħafna tqum minnha. Ma jaħtix it-tibdil fil-klima, anzi, il-produzzjoni għadha fl-aqwa tagħha. Iżda l-inflazzjoni madwar id-dinja ġabet tnaqqis fid-domanda u l-Awstraljani qed ikollhom jeqirdu eli isħaħ bidwili.
We're pulling these vines out because they're not viable at the moment with today's prices, today's commodities. Dollars per hectare just aren't adding up, and there's no point growing a crop that I can't survive off.
Il-bdiewa Awstraljani aktar jaqblilhom hekk jekk ma jridux ikomplu jitilfu l-flus.
This is a block of 35-year-old Shiraz. They're destined to be pulled out at the moment with an excavator.
L-imbit aħmar mill-Awstralja b'mod partikolari kien preġġat. Kont issibu fuq l-imwejjed tal-aqwa ristoranti. Iżda issa James Cremasco, li l-familja tiegħu taf dawn id-dwieli għal 4 ġenerazzjonijiet, qed ikollu jiddiversifika.
Demoralizing may be the right word. I really, always wanted to grow up to be a, grape farmer and really, produce good quality for the wineries. But, in today's climate, I just can't keep growing it and surviving and feeding the family. So, we're diversifying and going further into our other industry that we're already in, and which is prunes.
Tal-istess fema bil-Kalabria. Ukoll id-dwieli huma parti mill-familja.
There's less wineries and how long can you keep losing money for? So I guess the growers have to make some serious decisions about what they're going to do, and wineries have to work out what they're going to do as well, because they can't continue, running at a loss.
I think.
Il-problemi mhux tal-Awstralja biss, l-isfida hija waħda globali. Iċ-Ċina xi darba kienet l-aħjar suq għall-vitikultura Awstraljana. Iżda il-Gvern Ċiniż waqqaf l-importazzjoni tal-imbejjed mill-Awstralja u d-daqqa inħasset sew.
Yeah, it's one of the worst I've seen for a long time, mainly because it's global. It's not just the Riverina, it goes right across Australia and across the globe of the world. And this makes it a very difficult time for the industry. But we just hope that things will improve, and we just got to hang in there and work out how we can survive. And I feel for the growers, they're doing it very tough at the moment because they're finding it hard and the prices are not very good. But we just got to hang in there and hopefully come out the other end.
Skont Jeremy Cass, kap eżekuttiv ta' Riverina, mhux iċ-Ċiniżi biss jaħtu. Iżda wkoll għax iż-żgħar qed iduru għal xarbit oħra bħal birra u spirti ġodda.
The whole world is sort of slowing up on drinking, and we're having a lot of impact from competition from other sectors, being beer, boutique beers and spirits and mixed drinks that the younger people are drinking. So all of that combined has led us to a huge oversupply in this area, which has meant that prices this year are as low as $150 a tonne for some red grapes.
U għastmat li fil-kantini madwar ix-xlok tal-Awstralja hemm madwar sentejn ta' imbejjed jistennew fuq l-iskafef. kollu baqa' ma' wiċċhom ma nbieħx.
If China does come back, it'll help, but their consumption's dropped by 50% since 2017 and it's incrementally dropping each year.
It-tama għal bdiewa Awstraljani hija l-aħħar li tmut, għalkemm dawn id-dwieli qed jinqerdu wara 20 ta' snin ta' produzzjoni. Fl-aħħar jiem il-Bank Ċentrali Ewropew iddeċida li jżomm ir-rati tal-interessi fl-istess livelli.
The Governing Council today decided to keep the 3 key ECB interest rates unchanged. Since our last meeting in January, inflation has declined further. In the latest ECB staff projections, inflation has been revised down, in particular for 2024, which mainly reflects a lower contribution from energy prices. Staff now project inflation to average 2.3% in 24, 2% in 25 and 1.9% in 26.
Waqt konferenza tal-aħbarijiet, il-President tal-Bank Ċentrali Ewropew Christine Lagarde qalet li l-inflazzjoni b'mod ġenerali madwar l-Ewropa qed tonqos. Ilha tonqos 18-il xahar. Jekk l-affarijiet jibqgħu hekk, ir-rati tal-interessi jaf jitnaqsu f'Ġunju.
On inflation, first of all, I would observe that we are on this disinflationary process and we are making progress. We came from 2.9% in December, 2.8% in January, 2.6% in February. So there is a definite decline which is underway and we are making good progress towards our inflation target. And we are more confident as a result. But we are not sufficiently confident, and we clearly need more evidence, more data, and we know that this data will come in the next few months. We will know a little more in April, but we will know a lot more in June.
Riżultati pożittivi wkoll fejn jitlu l-indikaturi tax-xogħol, b'mod partikolari il-qatt.
The unemployment rate is at its lowest since the start of the euro. Employment grew by 0.3% in the final quarter of 2023, again outpacing economic activity. As a result, output per person declined further. Meanwhile, employers are posting fewer job vacancies, while fewer firms are reporting that their production is being limited by labour shortages.
Il-President tal-Bank Ċentrali Ewropew Lagarde tal-fema illi l-Istati membri tal-Unjoni Ewropea għandhom inaqsu bil-mod il-mod is-sussidji fuq l-enerġija. Biex bekk qalet il-prezzijiet jibdew jistabbilizzaw irwieħhom b'mod naturali u mhux b'intervent tal-Gvern.
Governments should continue to roll back energy-related support measures to allow the disinflation process to proceed sustainably. Fiscal and structural policies should be strengthened to make our economy more productive and more competitive, expand supply capacity and gradually bring down high public debt ratios.
Minkejja riżultati pożittivi b'mod ġenerali, jekk wieħed iħalli barra l-ikel u l-enerġija, l-inflazzjoni xorta għadha fil-livelli ta' 3.1%, filwaqt li s-servizzi qed jiżdiedu b'4%. Dan kollu qed irażżan l-ekonomija taż-żona euro milli tikber bil-pass u r-rati mixtieqa.
A weaker world economy or a further slowdown in global trade would also weigh on euro area growth. Russia's unjustified war against Ukraine and the tragic conflict in the Middle East are major sources of geopolitical risk. This may result in firms and households becoming less confident about the future and global trade being disrupted. Growth could be higher if inflation comes down more quickly than expected and rising real incomes mean that spending increases by more than anticipated, or if the world economy grows more strongly than expected.
Skont il-Bank Ċentrali Ewropew, l-ekonomija taż-żona euro din is-sena mistennija tikber b'0.6%, 1.5% s-sena d-dieħla u 1.6% is-sena ta' wara. Anki fl-Istati Uniti ddeċidew li jistennew qabel ibaxxu r-rati tal-interessi, kif jixed il-kumment li għadda dan l-aħħar iċ-Chairman tar-Riżerva Federali Amerikana Jerome Powell quddiem is-Senat.
A restrictive stance of monetary policy is putting downward pressure on economic activity and inflation. We believe that our policy rate is likely at its peak for this tightening cycle. If the economy evolves broadly as expected, it will likely be appropriate to begin dialing back policy restraint at some point this year. But the economic outlook is uncertain, and ongoing progress toward our 2% inflation objective is not assured. Reducing policy restraint too soon or too much could result in a reversal of progress that we've seen. And what we said is if what we expect and what we're seeing is continued strong growth, a strong labor market, and continuing progress in bringing inflation down, if that happens, if the economy evolves over that path, then we do think that the process of carefully removing the restrictive stance of policy can and will begin over the course of this year.
Fi kliem ieħor f'dinja globalizzata, l-ekonomija Amerikana u dik Ewropea mingħajr ma jridu jimxu pari passu. Mustafa Mitrawi jipproduċi ż-żejt taż-żebbuġa, wieħed mill-ħafna li hemm fit-Tuneżija u li jemmnu li jistgħu jagħmlu profitti akbar jekk jesportaw il-prodott tagħhom jekk jibbottiljawh u jimmarkawh. Flok bħal qabel, jesportawh bl-ingrossa. L-industrija taż-żejt taż-żebbuġa fit-Tuneżija għaddejja minn sfidi partikolari. L-aċċess għal finanzjament bħas-self ta' flus mill-banek huwa limitat. L-impjanti tal-ibbottiljar huma ftit. U n-numru ta' industrijalisti kbar qed jagħmluha diffiċli li żgħar biex jidħlu fis-suq. L-isfidi li qed isib ma' wiċċu Mitrawi u oħrajn bħalu qed itelfu opportunitajiet tad-deb għat-Tuneżija. L-esportazzjoni u allura dħul ta' munita barranija tant importanti għall-ekonomija tal-pajjiż jistgħu jkunu ferm akbar kieku kulħadd jiġbed ħabel wieħed. Iż-żejt taż-żebbuġa Tuneżina bħalissa jiġi esportat bl-ingrossa lejn Spanja u l-Italja. U flok jinbieħ bħala prodott uniku u ta' kwalità jitħallat u jiġi esportat mill-ġdid fuq tikketti Spanjoli u Taljani. Dak il-valur miżjud qed igawdu minn fuqu l-industrijalisti Taljani u Spanjoli minn flok il-bidwi Tuneżin, minn flok Mustafa Mitrawi.